What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Ultimate Mummy Black and White Edition. And so here we have the mummy pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories. The mummy does come with 3 different head sculpts. We do have the neutral expression, which looks nice. We do have an expression where he has his eyes closed. And then we do have an expression with his mouth open. He also does come with 5 different hands. We do have a pair of relaxed hands. We have a pair of reaching out hands. And then we have a right clawing hand, which looks really nice. He does come with 2 different wraps, which you can put around the figure, which that does look nice. He does come with a little Egyptian box, which looks really good. I like the design on it, as well as the hieroglyphs. And then he does come with a scroll on it, which unfortunately is not done in black and white, which is a little bit of a shame. Other than that, the mummy here doesn't come with any other accessories. So with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at the mummy. So here we have another look at the mummy, and you know what? I'm really digging these figures. NECA is doing a phenomenal job with the Universal monsters, and the mummy here is no exception. He looks fantastic. They really did a great job capturing the likeness of Boris Karloff, who also portrayed the mummy and Frankenstein, which is really interesting for those of you who don't know. It's a really nice sculpt, and this is a very solid figure. I love the detailing here on the head. It's just so well done, and it looks rotten. It looks like it's decaying. He even has like a decaying nose right here, which I think that's one of the best details. Now I do have him with the expression where he has his eyes open. Now he does come with the same expression, but his eyes are closed. I guess it's kind of a different expression. It looks very similar though, so do keep that in mind. Looking really nice. You know, one thing that they did a really good job with is the wraps. Just look at the detailing here. I know it's done in black and white, but the figure itself is black and white. Please pardon the filter. It's just for effect. But yeah, the detailing on this figure is phenomenal. Even with my black and white filter, you can see how much paint went into this figure, and it is gorgeous. Now yes, some areas did get more paint than the others. As you can see, there's a lot of paint here, not too much here, and that is quite noticeable, especially when you have a look at the front, because that looks more uniform. The paint is more spread out evenly, except right here at his neck. They could have done it a little bit more on the neck. Maybe if I... There we go, that looks a little bit better. The top portion of the joint of the neck didn't get enough paint, but yeah, it looks better like that. And at first looks, I didn't even realize he had a joint here at the neck, so yeah, it's fantastic. You can see some tears here in the wrap that looks really good. Just look at all these holes and wear and tear in the wrap. It looks like this mummy is ancient. Really good. And then you can see they even sculpted and painted his ring on his middle finger, which looks nice. Just gorgeous detail all the way around. And one thing I like about this figure is that there's a lot of hidden articulation that you pretty much wouldn't suspect is there. Like his waist joint is cut right here, but it's just done very cleanly that you wouldn't have a second thought to even realize that that's an articulation cut. It looks really nice. Even his hands are done very good. Just overall well detailed figure right here. You can see even his legs continue the wrap, and it's like I was saying, how the legs are almost seamless with this figure. It's a very good sculpt. The amount of effort they put into it is very good, and I gotta commend NECA for this figure. Each of the Universal monsters have had their own unique charm. I think Frankenstein still is my favorite that we've had a look at, but the mummy is a close second. Unfortunately, the Wolfman is just not monstrous enough. I guess that the mummy here just has more detailing and things to appreciate, because the Wolfman kind of was just a dude in clothing. Is that... It honestly looks like that's an articulation joint, but it's not. It's part of the sculpt. It honestly does feel like that should be an articulation point right here. That's a nice cut that would have allowed for some swivel in the ankle. But yeah, overall, just the amount of work that NECA put in this figure, it's a love letter to the Universal monsters, at least the classic versions. It looks very good, very clean, and I absolutely love the way the mummy looks. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get the mummy compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have the mummy posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have the mummy posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have the mummy posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And so here we have the mummy posed next to the NECA Wolfman and the NECA Frankenstein. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at the mummy's articulation. Now the mummy is sporting a double ball joint here in the head, so he can look up to about right there. He can look down about that far, which looks really nice, and then he does have some really good head tilt. Left and right rotation works pretty good. Then we do have another ball joint here at the base of the neck, so he can look up even further. And he does look down even further when you use both joints, so that looks good. Arms are on ball hinges, so they do go out, not all the way horizontal, but they do go up high enough. They do go all the way around. And one thing I do want to point out is that they do have a lot of inward mobility, and that's mainly to accommodate his I guess I'm just going to display it so that you can have his arms like that, and it looks really good. Speaking of his arms, we do have a bicep swivel, which works really nice. We do have a double joint here at the elbow, but it is the older fashioned NECA where they have the hinge and then another hinge, so we get rotation here at the elbow joint and then here at the forearm. It really does give you some really good range, I'm not gonna lie, but it does look a little weird when you look at it that way. But it does allow you to hit the mummy pose really nicely. As you can see, no issues hitting the mummy pose. I really do like that. So like I said, he does rotate here at the forearm. We have a rotation and hinge at the wrist. We have an ab joint which goes back about that far, and it goes forward about that far. It could be a little bit better, to be quite honest. Leans to the side. Very impressed by that. That looks really good. As well as rotates here at the mid-torso. He has a swivel here at the waist, which looks really good. It's a ball joint, but it doesn't really get too much mobility. As you can see, it's very minuscule. Most of your articulation is going to be here at the mid-torso. This is just supplemental articulation. Legs do have a lot of range as well. They go out to the side, no problem. They kick forward very far. The mummy can do the big boot for Hulkamania. Sorry about that, but yeah, they don't go back at all, unfortunately. He does have a thigh swivel up high. Unfortunately, we only get a single bend at the knee, but the mummy's not going to be running and chasing people quickly, let's be honest. He has a hinge in the foot, which does go back and does go forward, but it is a little bit hindered by the not the articulation, but the sculpt right here. So that's a little bit unfortunate. And then he does have a swivel here for rocker ankle, and it does work pretty well. So overall, the mummy here has some pretty decent articulation, and I do like it. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get the mummy pose for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the NECA Ultimate Mummy black and white version pose for my final thoughts, and overall this is a really nice figure. It really makes me excited to have a look at the colored version, which we did get from Big Bad Toy Store. It's a really nice looking figure. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Next to Frankenstein, I think the mummy is gonna be my second favorite figure out of the Universal Monster line so far, just because of the amount of detail and sculpt work on him. He doesn't come with the most accessories out of the bunch. It's still Frankenstein, but I absolutely love the sculpt and detail that went into this figure. I think I like the mummy a little bit more than the Wolfman, just because the mummy here has a lot going for him in terms of detail, where the Wolfman was pretty much just a dude in clothing with hairy ankles and hands and face. The mummy here has a lot of good detailing on him, and the paintwork is superb. Yes, there are spots that the paint could have been a little bit thicker, like on his back, but overall most of this figure has superb paintwork, and I have to give NECA credit on just the amazing sculpt that they did. The mummy here is a fantastic figure, and if you are looking for the black and white version of the mummy, he is starting to hit Target. At the time I'm making this video, I did find the mummy at my local Target. Well, he did run me about $32, which that's pretty much what NECA charges for figures these days. So $32 for this figure with amazing sculpt and detail, I think that is very, very well worth the price of admission. $32 for this amazing sculpting figure. Yeah, sign me up any day of the week. Now, the Mummy here is part of the Universal Monsters line. If you're not a fan of the Universal Monsters, I can see why you would pass on this, but the Mummy here does look good, and you can actually use them in other displays as, you know, an actual mummy, so that does work, and I absolutely love the poses that this guy can get into. If you can find the Boris Karloff black and white mummy, really do recommend you add it to your collection, especially if you're a fan of that old style Universal Monsters look. So with that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other reviews as well as all my other NECA and Universal Monster videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's another figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it fits in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified anytime I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.